So, obviously, I haven't been streaming or on social media much because of everything that's going on, right? And it was a lot. It's been overwhelming to deal with, like, the whole situation with Panda. And, I mean, Panda's the main part that I care about because I've been on the team for forever. This whole thing has sucked, right? What I tweeted, the little things that I tweeted, you know, as things were unfolding was like, this sucks. I want more opportunities for the Smash community, so anything being shut down sucks. And then, like, you know, the fallout of everything and the statements and all that was rough, right? It was not fun to see someone that, you know, put a lot of effort and time and trust into me in terms of Alan, to hear what people were saying he did and all that. And then somehow my name got through into it, mostly as memes, but, you know, trending 5 times is a little stressful on Twitter. I kind of want to start with, I guess, my experience with Panda as a whole, right? Because I've been on the team since the beginning, literally the beginning, right? Like, it was Alan and David, and then they talked to MVD. MVD brought me on, and when the team launched, it was me, MVD, and, like, this local Arizona player. So I have been on the team longer than anyone except for literally Alan and David, the co-owners, and now I guess just Alan, since he's no longer part of the company. Which is true, by the way. I've seen a lot of people talk about, like, actually, Alan is not, he's just not CEO, but he's still pulling the strings. Like, no, from what I've talked about with the Panda people and what he said in his statement, he's gone, right? And that's kind of a major point, right? Is I've been with Panda for so long, and, you know, like, I'm not, like, emotional. I'm fine right now. I mean, this is why I waited or one of the reasons I waited for so long, right? Is I wanted to make sure I had a clear head about everything, and I wanted to really think about it, and I really wanted to make sure that everything, like, you know, I got as much information as possible. I mean, I know, like, a bunch of people have, like, pointed out, like, hey, sometimes you don't wait for all the information before you make a judgment, and I really wanted to do that this time, so I wanted to wait. So, I mean, Panda has basically allowed me to be in the position that I am, right, in terms of full-time Smash, in terms of the places I've traveled, in terms of their support through tournaments, you know, the way everything happened, sucked, right? Like, the whole situation sucks. Smash World Tour getting shut down sucks. The amount of shit that Alan got, like, even if some of it was justified, like, the amount was simply terrible to look at as someone that knows him. The amount of shit that Panda got as an org, the amount of people in Panda that, you know, lost their trust in the org, you know, the amount of people in the scene that lost trust in Panda. But again, I do want to mention really quick that, like, basically all of everyone's problem with Panda was with Alan. Even the Smash World Tour statement said, it's like, yeah, this is just Alan. And then people conflated Alan to all of Panda, so then people started talking as Panda in a vague, but again, just to recircle it. The problems that people have with Panda are Alan, not Panda as an org, as far as I've seen. I haven't seen everything. Again, I've been offline for a bit. He has no power currently, from what I am aware of, and what the, you know, I'm pretty sure what the ICM said, the interim CEO committee thing, whatever they said. I don't remember what the fuck, IEM? I don't remember what the acronym said. The one thing that I wish happened with, like, this whole situation is, like, it literally just seems like from everything that I can see, it just looks like miscommunication to me. Like, my opinion, like, this whole thing is just miscommunication. For the people that are regulars in this chat, you know that I don't really like when people come into here and, like, act like they're my friend roasting me type of thing when they're not regulars and I don't know them. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, you know, you don't show up to chat a lot and you're being kind of rude. And they'll be like, oh, I'm just messing around with you. And I'll be like, yeah, so you don't know me well enough to mess around with me. So, like, either be here longer and get, like, become someone that I'm familiar with, then you can start doing that type of thing, or just be less rude. And what I really feel like happened is Alan was that chatter where he thought he was way closer to everyone than he actually was. So then when he's saying things like offhanded and, like, not really thinking about it too seriously because, oh, it's like, you know, we're friends, we're all cool here. The other people didn't think that. And again, this is just my perspective. And then, so like that was the first miscommunication. But even in Alan's statement, and that's been corroborated with the rest of Panda, and even we can see the screenshots of everything, right, from Alan's statement, was like anytime Alan was told, hey, something like whatever you're doing isn't working, whether it was the deal wasn't good enough in like the beginning parts, or he came off too strongly, or whatever the fuck happened with the BTS person, which both of them, I have no idea who I believe in that situation. It just seems like they're both rude, like they were perceived as rude by the other person. Like whatever. But then like no one of this beginning group of people that apparently had this huge problem with Alan, it seemed like, tried to communicate with him. Again, I don't know for sure. It's not like I'm reaching out to TOs being like, did you talk to Alan about any of the problems you had before this whole thing? But like it sucks, right? Because I really feel like that's a big part of it, is like, if like the way I talk to people, I know sometimes I can say things that are rude or standoffish and I don't realize it. But I can't know what people think of something I say unless someone tells me about it. So like, unless someone's like, hey, I have a problem with how you said that, or hey, that was a little rude, I'll be like, oh, my bad, I didn't realize it. And it seems like that didn't happen with Alan. Granted, you shouldn't have to do that with someone in extreme power, especially when they're saying things that are like worrying you. But that's just my perspective on it. Because again, like anything that we can see, again, obviously I'm not going to discount the TOs like Bobak that are saying like, yeah, Alan came off as a dick and he was like swinging his power around. Like I basically believe all the sides. Obviously we can see from Alan's perspective in the emails and the DMs that he's being very genuine and trying to be very helpful and like everything that we can see. And that doesn't mean that what he said in person wasn't rude or wasn't standoffish or wasn't, not necessarily aggressive is the right word, but like assertive in terms of him talking to the early TOs that like made them think that, Smashville Tour was going to get shut down and that it was like a threat. Like I really think that something Alan said upset these people and they were upset, like bothered by it. And then everything kind of festered and it got worse, which sucks, right? Like I really feel like a lot of this was miscommunication. And again, I could be wrong. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know everything. I'm not a TO. I've never seen Alan talk to anyone like that, which sucks, right? And then the fallout of this is now Panda hurt as an org because Alan's actions, or, accused actions, fucking made a bunch of people leave. Just for reference, I genuinely believe, and it has been confirmed also by Nintendo and Panda, Alan does not have the power to control Nintendo. Nintendo is a huge company, so I think the one thing that I will blatantly be like, no, is like that Alan had the power to cancel events because he didn't like them. I think that's a bit ridiculous. There have been a couple of things that are ridiculous that I've seen, but also there was so much that like people just kind of went wild, right? On both sides. And again, the worst part about all this to me, like obviously the tour's getting shut down is bad, but as someone that's been on Panda for a long time, seeing the amount of shit and the amount of worry that all the other Panda employees had to deal with it was a lot. This shit sucks. But one thing that did happen from this is when everything was going down, I was talking to a lot of people on Panda because I wanted to make sure if everyone's okay. Because again, I've been here, I'm like the currently second most senior person at the company, right? David is first because he was like founding it. And then other than David, who was the CFO or whatever the fuck, I don't know the title. He's currently, he's always been like a super high, like executive level Panda person. But I just know like mostly everyone except for people that came on for like editing and stuff. Like I know a lot of people. Just people would be talking in Discord channels and I'm just there, right? And what this whole situation has made me realize is that Panda as a whole has and had, including the people that left, right? A bunch of amazing people, right? Talented people, smart people, caring people. I think Ludwig said it really well in one of the mogul mails. Alan was trying to do what he thought was best for the scene, and what he thought was best for the scene didn't align with what other people thought was best for the scene. People, had resistances to what Alan did. The Panda Cup events, from what I saw and what I went to, were great. The Smashville Tour events that I went to were great, right? Like I went to Battle of BC, that event was lit, right? I've seen the ones in Europe. I didn't really go to that many because I just haven't been traveling that much, and if I was gonna go to something, I knew I was gonna go to Panda Cup, so I wanted to qualify for Panda Cup. Plus, like the whole point system in Smashville Tour stressed me out, so I just would I want to place top X, I'm done, right? I don't have to constantly worry about it. So like obviously I care a lot about the people in Panda, and the thing is I care about the people still in Panda, right? Because again, not everyone's leaving. There's a bunch of people leaving, right? There's a ton of people left. But I don't feel like everyone there is equal to what Alan did. And Panda has given me a lot of grace in terms of helping me, and they stuck by me, and they helped. So it would feel to me kind of unfair when one person in this org, not even many people of the org, someone messed up, and they received hella consequences. Again, Alan, not CEO, no power in the company anymore, trying to get rid of his shares like actively. Everyone else still on the team, whether front end or back end, is trying their best. But again, they stuck by me and they have given me grace. And because of that, with the information that I have, again, this can change, right? Still, I don't know if there's more information out there. I don't know anything, right? I want to give Panda a chance to rebuild and figure out what the fuck they're going to do from here. Because I don't know everything that I don't know their plan at the moment. There's a lot of scrambling as far as I'm aware. But for now, at the very least, I am remaining on Panda. I am not leaving. And it's taken me a lot. This has been a lot of thought and a lot of worry and a lot of stress. But again, for right now, that seems like the decision that makes sense. Because again, I can agree or disagree with what Alan did, but that has nothing to do with the rest of the team. Literally nothing that the rest of the team has done is related to what Alan did. What do I think of Wadi leaving? I think people leaving makes sense. I think it's personally fair. Again, I will probably get negativity for staying on Panda, right? But I mean, again, I 100% understand the people that left. 100%. Because there's a lot of broken trust, right? And I feel like I'm in a unique position that I've been around for so long that they've needed to trust me also, and so I can give it back. I don't think that staying or leaving is objectively better or worse choice. But again, also part of it for me, not to add confusion here, but I have a salary and I need that salary. That's an important part, right? It's still a job. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna open up Q&A again. I don't want to talk about everything because there's been so much and it's been a lot of everything, so I don't really want to talk about every little detail because it's just so much, but I'll answer what I can. Given the state of things, there's probably not a lot of opportunities in Smash for getting sponsored. I have no idea. I don't really know the market because, again, I haven't needed to look for a team in fucking 7 years. I've been on Panda for 7.5 years. I started with them in June of 2015. It was 6 months after Smash 4 came out. Will Panda stop making videos completely? I have no idea. I'm not in the content department. I have zero clue. I assume that eventually they will start making videos again, but I don't know. That's literally just a thought. I have zero clue. Bro, I hope PG Stats in some way can still exist, because literally PG Stats was my favorite Smash content. I like PG Stats' content more than I like my content. Do I think we'll ever see the Panda controller? I don't know what departments of Panda still do or do not exist. What's next for me Smash-wise now that Panda Cup isn't happening? I'm going to Genesis. I don't know if I'm going to anything before that. Would I do different content? Well, I still like my content. Again, my content's not going to change. On my channel here, I'm still doing the same thing. Panda Cup partnered with Nintendo and had a Melee bracket? No, I would say that, Panda Cup did a great job of, doing both Melee and Ult. I mean, there were Melee-specific events that Ultimate literally wasn't at for the final spots. I don't think it's fair to be yeah, they only cared about Ultimate. When they literally did just as much. If they didn't care about Melee, they literally could have just not included it. Panda didn't have to include Melee, I'm assuming. I have no idea. I'm not in those conversations. But I'm assuming if they wanted to just do Ultimate, they could have just done Ultimate, and they didn't. They wanted to also support Melee. Do I think there could have been a compromise? So again, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I don't know if a compromise could have existed, because I don't know, again, for the canceling of Smash World Tour, again, that was... I didn't really talk about that, because I'm not VG Bootcamp. I don't know what happened. I don't know the fears. And I don't know all the communication that happened, right? But I just feel in general, in terms of the Alan stuff, which is mostly the stuff that I talked about, I just wish there was more communication and better communication, because I really feel there was a lot of miscommunication and lack of communication. Do I think they should change the name of their brand? No, it's still Panda. I mean, again, it's obviously it is because Samurai Panda and that was Alan, but it's more than him, and it was always more than him, which is one of the reasons I'm staying. Is like, it's not like Panda was just Alan, right? It was so many talented individuals. So I don't think they need to rebrand. If they want to, they sure, but like, I don't think it's necessary. Will Panda look for new creators? I have no idea. Again, I am not a hiring person on Panda. I am a player and a content person. I have zero influence on decisions like that, nor do I know what's going on, nor do I really want to know what's going on. That's a lot. Do I think it was a rash decision to leave this early? I think leaving early also made sense because, like, again, everyone was getting shit, like, for no reason, right? Like, obviously, none of this had to do with anyone other than Alan. It's perfectly reasonable to be like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm sorry. Fuck this, I'm out. Like, perfectly reasonable. So what's the deal with content with Little Z and Waddy? I will still make content with my friends. And Little Z and Waddy, Panda or not, are my friends. Like, I'm still going to play with Waddy. Like, again, we're going to be less prompted to do it out of the blue, because a lot of times Panda would do something for a video, and then Waddy's channel would want to do it for a video, and so I would do it, and then I would get something for my channel. And since there's going to be less of that, it's probably going to be less frequent, but it's still going to happen. Do I think Panda Cup's going to end up happening? I have no idea. They said delayed, not canceled, but I don't know. I have zero clue. I'm not in those conversations. It has nothing to do with me. Do I think the team that made PG Stats will make a stats channel called Stats? That's fucking hilarious. I don't know. I mean, again, it's a lot of work, and if they're not getting paid, I don't think people are going to do it. So I don't know what's going to happen.